Hey there, welcome to GemIIToys. Here we are once again, this time taking a look at the two currently available Mandalorian figures by Hot Toys. That is the OG Durasteel Mandalorian figure, as well as the Beskar Mandalorian figure that was recently released. Actually, both have been recently released, but for this comparison we're gonna just refer to them as the OG Mando and the Beskar Mando, and we're gonna be doing a little competition here, taking a look at all their accessories in detail, as well as of course the figures, the boxes, and we're gonna do a little competition as I've done before with Iron Man and Darth Vader. I figured these two would be a nice comparison. The deluxe version, I feel, of course, is not a fair comparison, but this version I feel like it was worth taking a look at these two together side by side and doing a nice competition. And here we have our little guest. This is the Hallmark Grogu that I customized, and here we have the two figures. So let's have a little fun comparing these two, and it was kind of tough because I really do like these two figures. But first, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any future content like this. So, taking a look at the boxes, it's a very similar situation. As you can see, an image of OG Mando and Beskar. They also have that kind of wraparound art with some artwork. You can see here on the side of the box. I kind of like the OG image a little better. I feel like it's just a nicer image. The backs, of course, credit to the people who created this figure, but not a whole lot to see in terms of images or graphics. But opening the box, you do have this insert, and this time I like the image of the Beskar version better. So since it's such a similar situation, I'm just gonna call this one a draw, 0-0 for now. So taking a look inside their respective boxes, this is how you would receive the figures. You see the accessories come in that kind of separate kind of tray, and the figures in their wrapping. And Beskar Mando does have this bottom tray with the jetpack. He does come with more accessories, so of course he came with that bottom tray for the base and jetpack, as I mentioned. But that's how you would receive each one of these figures, I should say. So taking a look at the accessories, we have each contender in their respective corner. So let's take a look first at OG Mando's accessories. See the bomb and tracking fob hands. We got these two, what you call them, spikes that they attach to the base to hold the stormtrooper helmet. We'll get into that a little bit later. I have a few opinions about that. And he does come with this shoulder plate pad. This is, I believe, from a shore trooper. Sure looks like a shore, he stole it from some shore trooper. And does come with his pistol, some extra wrist pegs with also some extra buttons in case you lose those black buttons. Here's the stormtrooper helmet, which, you know, it's kind of interesting. It's the old school style helmet. You know, Rogue One, they redesigned the helmet. It's kind of interesting. That must be because when he goes to Tatooine, those are the stormtroopers that were there from the real old school Star Wars. And here we have Beskar Mando's assortment of hands. He does come with one more extra hand. You got 4 extra hands with OG Beskar. You get that one for holding the knife. I'll show you a little later, as well as a couple other things. He does come with more, as you can see, more accessories, quite a bit more. And this is not even the deluxe. The deluxe, of course, does have that much more. Here we have cute little Grogu, the best accessory this guy comes with. I'm basically already spoiling it. I mean, obviously in terms of the accessories, this is, you know, not a fair contest. The Beskar version definitely takes that. I mean, just so much more. A lot of the stuff, like I said, I'm gonna get into it a little bit later, really belongs to the OG version, which is kind of interesting, the choices Hot Toys made in terms of distribution of the accessories between these figures. But it's kind of weird. But you do see that flame effect. I love that. And the jetpack, of course. Those are the three accessories I love the most. I do like that grappling hook as well. And just like the OG, extra wrist pegs with those extra buttons in case you lose them. But here, pretty much, I think it's pretty obvious. The Beskar version is going to take this one. He does come with quite a bit more. But we're going to get a little bit more into this section, which I like to call this the common accessories. Take a look at the same accessories from each figure, see if there's any differences. And there really isn't. There's one difference I noticed, of course. So you saw the bombs look the same, the pistols here look the same. The OG does have a little bit more weathering, but I mean, all these look pretty much the same. The Beskar shoulder pad is a little more weathered on the OG version, and the rifle is a little more weathered on the Beskar version, which is quite interesting. And that one strap that attaches to the figure, as you can see here, I moved it up because it is articulated. It does rotate around that piece. On the OG, I wasn't able to articulate it. But I mean, all these accessories you see are 99% exactly the same. I mean, so it's such minor differences. So as I said, this is a pretty obvious win for the Beskar version. He does come with quite a bit more and, you know, better accessories. So 1 point goes to the Beskar version. So taking a look at the bases, here we have the OG base. It does have those two kind of holes to slot in the spikes. And there's a little different paint application. Looks a little slightly better, the Beskar version. I like it. Looks a little more like sand. And here they're set up. One is the OG does have, as I mentioned, these two spikes, and you can set up the Stormtrooper helmet of when he went to Tatooine, and he was actually wearing Beskar, which makes no sense. Why did the OG Durasteel why did he come with this? I don't know. Nonetheless, we did get that. It's nice. It's a nice accessory. Of course, you know, coming with a child would have been much better, but it's a nice accessory. The paint application is pretty good. The weathering, the helmet looked a little cheap at first when comparing it to an actual Stormtrooper, but in this case, honestly, I like this style base and I like the metal plate. I just don't like the sand with the footprints on either one of these bases. But with that said, this is a competition and I'm leaning towards the OG version due to the fact that it does come with those spikes to accessorize or make the base a little more diorama with the Stormtrooper helmet. So because of that, I'm going to give 1 point to the OG version, even though the Beskar is got the stand for dynamic poses and flight poses. So taking a look here at the figures side by side, it's really nice seeing these two next to each other, comparing their armors, basically beginning of the Season 1 Mando with all the damage on the armor. He's also wearing the Shore Trooper shoulder pad to make him a little more different. He does come out of the box with Beskar though. Shoulder pad, that is. And speaking of Beskar, taking a look here at Beskar Mando. Really nice shiny armor, and a little more bulky, as well as the jumpsuit. You can see you got that brown look to the jumpsuit versus here we have, what do I want to call this, like a light gray, depending on the light. It's, yeah, not really light gray, it's just gray, I would say. And as I was mentioning, here you can see all the blaster damage. That's what I like about this armor. The OG, he's got more of a story to tell. The armor has a story to tell, I should say, with all that weathering, all the battles he's been through. Now the Beskar does have the 1 thigh plate with a little bit of leftover Beskar, I guess you would call it, as well as the same weathering, because it's the same plate, as you can see here. I dig so much the weathering and blaster damage of the OG, as well as, you know, this was our introduction to the character. You do see there he's got that knee piece or knee pad. I'm not sure what you call that. I should look into that. I do like that he starts wearing it in season 2 again. It's too bad he didn't. I wonder why he didn't continue wearing it after he decided to wear his Beskar goodness. So here, taking a look at the profile of both figures, see the one boot, OG's got that knee pad. Gauntlets obviously are different design for the Beskar, with an upgraded weapon installed. The helmet, even though both are Beskar, you do have more weathering on the OG version. Got the short trooper pad, gauntlet, and the boot actually has a little bit of Beskar. That's the only difference, just a tad of Beskar on the Beskar version. Taking a look here at the backs of the figures, starting with the capes, you can see more, it's more of a torn and with holes. I want to say the cape of the OG is more worn. Putting the cape to a side, here you can see on the bandolier he does have that, I guess, pocket compartment, versus nothing here on the Beskar version, which is interesting. Did he swap bandoliers as well when he switched to Beskar? Is that screen accurate, I wonder? Here I gave him his Beskar shoulder pad to the OG version, so you can see how these two compare like that. Not much of a difference. And here I decided to put them both riding their imaginary speeder. Now I was just testing out the articulation. It's the same body inside each one of these figures. Does have some, I call it in my review ratcheted joints, but the shoulder rotating forward and back does click into place. So I'm not sure if you call that a ratchet. Nonetheless, this is a tough one, really tough comparing these two. You got the OG that started everything, and you got the Beskar that did have a lot more screen time. Bulky and shiny Beskar, weathered with more of a story to tell. He was probably wearing this during Return of the Jedi, but I'm gonna go with Beskar, and it's because of more screen time, more signature Mando in my opinion. Here, taking a look at the Grogus, my customized Hallmark Grogu. I gave him his fuzz, his hair on the top even. I was thinking to do that to the Hot Toys version, but I don't want to mess with him. Obviously, you know, my customized version is not the Hot Toys quality in terms of paint application, but I'm pretty happy with how my Hallmark customized Grogu in the pram looks like. This is why I didn't get the deluxe version. It's all I really needed to complement my OG version. And in terms of skin tone, I felt like or I feel like I should say, the Hot Toys is a little too green and mine is too blue. Somewhere in between, I think. Then I know lighting is a factor and the filters they use for the series. Now here, taking a look at the gauntlet and the flame effect inserted in the gauntlet of the OG does have the slot. This gauntlet was engineered to use this piece, which is quite interesting. Was he originally supposed to come with this piece? It sure looks like it to me. Because as I mentioned, that gauntlet was designed for this accessory. Instead, they gave us the weathered Stormtrooper helmet, which is, again, I keep saying interesting, it's bizarre, it really is. So now this piece here I'm showing you with light. It's painted white for the light. I like to call it, again, the ear of the helmet. I did try removing on the OG. Here I'm showing you the vibrating knife, as it could complement this figure as well. But like I was saying, I wanted to test and see if I could install that. That should have came with this version. In fact, here I'm just kind of showing what I feel should have came with this version of Mando, and Beskar Mando's just staring at him like, what you doing with my accessories, man? Yeah, they should have came. This is how he should have came with a flame effect. Grogu, and the knife would have been nice too, I feel, because he does, and of course this hand to hold it. That's what I felt this hand is mostly for, to hold the knife. But he does kill the Mudhorn with that knife, so should have came with him. And here is what I feel should have came with the Beskar version. Is the first time we see him go to Tatooine and walk around and you see those Stormtrooper helmets on the spikes, he's wearing Beskar, not Durasteel. Again, very bizarre choices by Hot Toys. At the end of the day, probably a business tactic, right, Grogu? Yeah, that's what Grogu's looking at. Is like, what are you doing there? Yeah, business tactic to get us to buy both figures. They're a business. I respect that. So here I'm showing you that knee pad on Beskar version. Make him a little more season 2 like. Trying to get him to look as season 2 as I can. I'd like that thigh plate at some point. Maybe I'll 3D print one, or as well as a spear. That would be nice. But that's why this is my preferred Mando. He did get a lot more screen time in this suit, and season 2, all you have to swap is that thigh plate, as well as, of course, get one of these pads. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. I love both of these figures. It's a very tough choice, and either one of these figures you're gonna be very pleased with, but for the money you do get more with the Beskar. That's why I gave a smiley, extra smiley face in terms of worth your money. And final thoughts are, if you're just going to get one Mandalorian figure, I think you should go with the Beskar version. The OG is more of a secondary figure, either though everything started with that version. I also like to really recommend, you know, one figure per character, either though I break that rule. Just go with the Beskar version and you will be content. So with that said, subscribe, like, and comment. Enjoy the path of collecting, and I'll catch you guys next time.